Hello, you crafty lot. How are you? Are you all upbeat? I'm sure you are. You've probably just got off from Sarah and Ben, who've been doing the most amazing launch so far, which I absolutely love. If you love being outdoors and you just want that feel of camping or walking or hiking or cycling, I know loads of you do that, so I bet you've absolutely really enjoyed that. And oh, excuse me, and I bet Sarah's been in a colouring coma, so I bet Ben's been doing all the talking. But anyway, good afternoon. How are you? I hope you're all well. I hope you're refreshing. You've refreshed your page and got back to me, because that's all you really need to do. I know a lot of people say they don't see the feed afterwards once they come off from one to another one, so the actual transition. And you just need to refresh your page really, or go back onto Crafters and just refresh that page, and on Crafters TV or on YouTube, and then you can I then pop up. I love Craft Together. It is all about me and you, and just crafting and having a little chat, having a bit of fun, asking any questions. It's quite a personal get together, which I really enjoy. It's one of those things that you can just all come in for and ask me whatever you want, and also just for me to put a little bit of my crafting knowledge out there as well, because we don't always get the chance to spend a certain amount of time on just one thing. And yesterday I asked lots of you, I see lots of names are popping up, so I'll have a look at them in a second. Jan's on social, so if you are just joining us or you've just found us, this is a very different show. So Craft Together is not about us selling you anything. I mean, that's quite refreshing. I mean, obviously we're a sales company, we want to make the sales, but having a program like this where we can literally just really enjoy our craft and not have to worry about checking out or baskets, or making sure we grab it before they're gone. You don't have to worry, but obviously everything we do is on the website, so you can always hop across there and see anything there. I've also got Sam in my ear, so he's with me for the next hour. He's saying hello, and he will then, if you've got any questions or want to check anything on the website, he'll literally type it in and find that out for us. So make sure that you ask any questions that you need to know. So yesterday in our Craft Together, I asked about, because my favourite ink pads are pigment ink pads. I make no bones about it. I think they are fabulous. They do everything I need them to do and much more, and they really are just your core ink pads to have. And I would recommend the pigment ink pads to anybody that doesn't know what ink pads to go for, just because of their capabilities, how they are, how juicy they are. So let's say hello to who's on this morning. So we've got Jan on socials, and we've got PB Brewers in today. I'm starting to see all the regulars coming back onto these Craft Togethers, which is fabulous. She is saying, Fry, yeah, yes, Fry, yeah, I get to go home today. Can you believe I've been up here all week? I get to go home today. I won't get home till late, probably about 11:30 tonight, 12 o'clock. It's a long journey home, but it'll be nice. It's bank holiday weekend, and then I'm down at Hobby Maker next week. So she's saying, thank you, Debbie, for such valuable shows. Yeah, really appreciate that. We're going to hopefully do a lot more of them as well, and I know Craig and Debbie will be up doing them as well over the next few weeks, so it's going to be fabulous. And again, if there's anything you really want to see, then ask us, because that's the best thing about our shows, is that because we're interactive with you all, we can do whatever you need us to do, and anything that you want us to go over, we can do that as well, and just offer as many tips and techniques as possible. And likewise, if you've got anything that you've learned from anything I'm doing today, let me know, because I always learn from you as well. So I love learning new things. When Craig's up and he's doing the when I'm presenting and he's crafting, I learn so much from him. When Debbie's up, I learn so much from her. So I love the fact that we all still learning in this journey on our crafting. Stephen Nichols is in saying, afternoon, Debbie. Hi, Stephen. Trudy is saying, morning, everyone. I've been looking forward to this demo. Oh, I'm so pleased, Trudy. Tim is in saying his first time seeing this as a live. Great to see it. Hope everyone is well. Oh, Tim, welcome. Yes, it's really good to see it as live. But remember, even if it's not live and you're watching, you might be watching, it might be Saturday afternoon to you. Hello if it's Saturday afternoon. Hello if it's Sunday morning. Hello if it's Monday, because you could be watching this anytime. On YouTube, it's literally on there as long as YouTube's there. Facebook now, I think our videos are only for 30 days, aren't they? They've changed sort of everything about those, so they're only there for 30 days. But yeah, you can catch up another time. Trudy is saying hello, Sam in the ear. I love that. I'm just going to be known as Sam in the ear now, Sam. Art by Jan is saying hello, Debbie. Hello, Art by Jan. I should say just Jan. And Charlotte is in saying hello from Georgia. Looking forward to Debbie's demos today. And Jan is saying I love the pigment ink pads too. It's been a while since I've used them for anything else other than heat embossing. So I'm so looking forward to this. Yeah, it's the best thing that they do is the heat embossing, but there are so many different things that you can do. And Tracy's saying, did you and Al have a curry last night? Yes, we did, Tracy. It was delicious. He did like a tomatoey based curry, and it was really tasty. You know, when something's just it's just right. It was a little bit sour, a little bit sweet. It was really delicious. And he made his own not poppadoms. He made his own flatbreads with yogurt, using yogurt. So they were delicious. So, and naan breads. The only thing is, it's the first time I've eaten a flat not naan bread, onion bhaji. He made onion bhajis, but they were flat because we didn't have any sort of fryer to fry them in, so you had to do them in the frying pan, and the easiest way to cook them through in a frying pan is to have them flat. But they were delicious. So yes, we did have our curry last night, which was amazing. And Tim is saying, I have the water reactive dyes, but sometimes struggle to get nice ombre effects. Yeah, so water reactive. So let's get started straight away and talk about the ink pads, because if I just talk about the three main ink pads that we do, it's water reactive, quick drying, and let me just bring that one in, and pigment ink pads. Now it shows you what they are on the actual tubs themselves. Now the water reactive, I know are a lot of people's favourites because there's so much you can do with these. And can you see the denseness of the actual design? So this is like a dense, thick felt pad. With the quick drying, you're getting a more spongier pad. So that one is quite spongy, and it literally just pushes down. With the pigment ink pads, you get a really soft sponge on there, which is incredible because it holds all that beautiful ink. Now, the pigment ink pads are opaque, which means they're layerable. So you can layer a colour on top of another colour, and they give more of a chalky finish. So the water reactive and the quick drying, they are very similar in their colour laydowns, where the pigment ink pads are more chalky. So water reactive, you need more ink because it's on a felt pad. You need more ink to get a better blend. So let's try that straight away. So let me just grab a piece of card. And the other thing is, Tim, is your lay down depending on what you lay them down with. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring in all the different ones that we have. We have the brushes. They're out of stock at the moment, but I have been assured they won't be long before we get them back in. My absolute favourites. So pigment ink pads and these brushes, I don't think you can go wrong. The brushes are incredible. So if I start with the brush and just place that into my ink pad, when you then go onto your card, can you see how that just glides on? And you get the most amazing lay down of colour. And it's very even. So I would say if you're having trouble with laying down your colour, your brushes are the best thing that you could possibly use. That is fabulous. And the only thing you have to do with that is grab yourself, I haven't got a water spritzer, but I do have some kitchen towel and a white. So let me just grab a white. Because what you would normally do is spritz your kitchen towel and then just rub the brush onto there. But because I haven't got a water spritzer here, I'm just going to use this to just very loosely put that through. So can you see, I've just popped that through there, onto there. That's all I want to do. I don't want to make that wet. And then I'm just going to use this to go on. And now can you see, now when I'm going to this part, there's hardly any ink coming out. And because because they're so dense, it doesn't sit inside the bristles, it just sits on top. So I can now use that for another colour, a completely different colour, and it won't contaminate. So the brushes are brilliant. Then you've got these ones, which are your sponge applicators. So when you use a sponge applicator, so I'm just going to fill that up with that one. Well, I've dipped that in the black, didn't I, there? So it might come out a little bit black. When you then go to put this on, can you see the difference? It's not such a smooth, you still get a lot of colour laid down, but it's not as smooth. So there's a real difference in this one to this one, just because this is a sponge, this is a brush. So any brush applicator is going to be better for you to lay down that colour. So that's worth giving a try. The other thing we do, and I think maybe Sam could have a look for these. These are our blending, well, I call them smoothies, but I think they're just, I don't know what they're called, Sam. Blending, what are they called? Blended eggs? Don't know what they would be called. Oh, there you go, blending mini sponges. So they're a pack of 3, a pack of 4 actually for $4.99. So that's really good. Now these are good. So all you would do is literally pop those onto these, and these are all washable. So you can just throw these into your sink with a bit of washing up liquid or soap, and you get a lot more ink laying down in one go. Can you see? Because it really soaks into that sponge and just gives you a really good lay down. So that's, you can see, much darker. So for me, I prefer the brushes. These are absolutely brilliant, and these are good, but they're obviously cheaper than what you would pay for your brushes and your little eggs as well. So that's depending on what you're laying down. Now, the reason I wanted to do this is I've already got a piece here which I've added just plum jam and the fuchsia onto this one. So I've just blended some colour because I wanted to show you how the colours look together and how well they come out by adding then your pigment ink pads, because we do want to make it all about pigment ink pads. If you wanted to stamp your quick drying ink pad, brilliant, because it dries straight away, which is absolutely amazing. But your pigment ink pads, you can now start to stamp with them. So I thought what we'd do, start with stamping and show you how beautiful they are to stamp on top of your regular ink pads, or you might just have some coloured cardstock that you want to stamp onto. So I've got myself, in fact, they're under here, a really old set of stamps. I don't know if anyone remembers these, but I love these stamps. I just have them at home, and they're really great for just having some sort of petals and flowers and that. They're sort of layering stamps. So I am just going to put a few onto here just so we can stamp with them. And then I thought I would show at the same time how we can do some differences with our heat embossing as well. So I want to try stamping. We're going to try, we've done a bit, I haven't done the blending with them, but I will do that as well for you. But this is onto colour. So let me bring in my stamping platform and just place that onto here. Like so, pick that one up, and then we can stamp. Now, what I would definitely recommend is if you have inked your paper, you want to use a anti-static bag just to go over the top. And the reason being is because if you want to heat emboss, you don't have to do it if you're not heat embossing, but it's really a good way just to make sure that you've not got any static on there or anything that's going to make it a different colour. And then all we're going to do, I'm actually going to do one in the plum jam. So let's just stamp that one. And this is what you can do. You can really load colour up, which is amazing. Loads of colour we can put onto there. And then I'm going to do the pink tulip. Oh, we don't want pink tulip, we want fuchsia. Oh, don't tell me I've picked up. Oh no, I haven't. I thought I'd picked up 2 fuchsias in the water reactive, but I have got one in the pigment. And this is the difference. Can I show you actually? Look, such a big difference in that. So you've got a real sort of chalky finish on that one. So let me just pop that to the side and then put some on here, like so. And then we're just going to stamp them. So really easy to stamp with. I've got the stamping platform that has the sticky base, but you can have the one that doesn't have the sticky base. Now you can, oh, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it on white as well, just so you can see the difference. So let's just pop that piece of cardstock there. So just going to place that onto here. And again, I'm going to use the anti-static bag. And then we're just going to stamp directly onto there. I think I've put that, yes, we can fit that one on. And then we're going to do exactly the same. So bring that one in, stamp that one down. Now the great thing about pigment ink pads, and please ask any questions, we'll try and make sure that that I read them. Yeah, please ask any questions that you want to know about them or anything you want me to try, because I'm really happy to try anything that you maybe are having difficulties with, or you haven't tried and you want to see the results. But pigment ink pads, they are fabulous. I mean, look at that, lay down a colour. Now, if I want a bit more colour, we can absolutely go with that. So I'm going to put a bit more onto that one, and we're going to put a little bit more onto there. Because it's got that real squishy sort of pad, it's so easy to put that layer of extra ink down. So we're going to stamp on them. Now, what we would do normally, we would use our pigment ink, our embossing powder. So I'm just going to pop that to the side. And so I've just got one which is just a clear, and that's the brilliant thing about all the pigment ink pads. No matter what colours you've got, they are going to work really well by using them as with just your normal clear embossing powder. So this one's just a wow one. You'll be able to find that online. We don't do our own one. We have done them before, but we haven't got none at the moment. So I am just going to grab myself a piece of card to put underneath. Now, if you was to just put this down, you could then have a layer of embossing powder, which looks beautiful, but you could make your own glitter one. So I've got a little bit of glitter here, and all I'm going to do is add some embossing powder just into this little tub. So I've used a little tub that's come with our little smoothers, so they were just in there to use, and then I'm going to add a little bit of glitter. You don't want loads, but just enough to give that a little bit of a difference. So now we've made our own sparkly embossing powder. So I'm just going to place that onto there and then just move that around. Didn't want to waste too much because I don't have another pot. So I was trying to find one, but because Sarah was in the studio, I didn't want to interfere with her show. So I'm just going to pop that in there, pop that over the top, and you get a really cool effect. Now, what I would say is, because your glitter doesn't have any stick on it, so you want your embossing powder to melt so the glitter stays put. So what I would absolutely recommend is doing this upside down, not upside down, you want to do it underneath. So we're going to switch on our embossing, our heat tool, and we're going to emboss from underneath. So I'll pop that to the front so you can see. Now what this does, it doesn't blow anything away until it actually starts to melt. And then when it starts to melt, not only have we got this beautiful embossed detail, we've then got this gorgeous glitter which won't go anywhere because it's now encapsulated into that beautiful embossing powder. So that's our first one. I'm just going to turn that round so I don't burn my fingers, and do the top one. And you'll see the colour change as that starts to melt. You can really see the glitter coming out in there. And then once that's melted, you can always then go down onto the front, because now we've actually melted all that beautiful embossing powder into that glitter. So it's a really cool way of being able to stamp. But look at this, I'll put it to the front so you can really see that. You've got that gorgeous glitter, look at that. How absolutely beautiful is that? And you've got none around the edges because we've used our anti-static pad, but now we've got those glittered marks. And then if I just show you my finished card, here we go. I've done normal embossing in the background, so that's just regular embossing powder. And then on the side here, we've just done that beautiful glittered flowers. So it just gives it a bit of a difference with what you want to do in a variation, but it means you can either go on to just your white cardstock, or you can go on to your coloured cardstock. But so the reason I wanted to show you this, because I don't want you putting pigment ink pads blended onto a card and then stamp on top of that, because it stays wetter for longer. Even if you dry it fully, it will still take your embossing powder. It will still have a slight stick to it where the embossing powder will attach itself. You could leave it a day and then use your anti-static bag, but from my experience, you absolutely want to use your water reactives to do your background and then your pigments on the top. Right, let's have a look here and see what we're saying. We've got Christine Mahoney's in saying hello, Debbie and everyone. Hi, Christine. Carol is saying, Debbie, this Craft Together is one of my favourite shows, more in depth and great questions. It's becoming my favourite show as well, I have to be honest, Carol. I absolutely love it. And she's also saying pigment inks are my go-to. I love to heat emboss and these work great. Yeah, absolutely. And Stephen is saying, how long do these ink pads last? I got quite a few and some haven't been opened. If they've not been opened, Stephen, they will honestly last you years. They will last you years. And if they've been opened, just keep them somewhere cool and dry, and they will last you a long time. I've never had an ink pad run out on me by drying up. So I think especially pigment ink pads, because so the other thing with pigment ink pad, because it's naturally sourced, so water reactives, quick drying, they are not naturally sourced colours. So the colours will fade over time, not in the ink pad, but on your makes. With pigment ink pads, when you apply them, the colour will last so much longer. Even if you're putting it out onto a windowsill and the sun's coming in, your colour will stay true for a long time, because it's pigment. It's just got that true colour, and they last a lot longer, so they're sort of anti-fade really, which I love about them. Colin's saying, I love that card, it's beautiful. Tracy's saying really pretty, and love to create is saying lovely card, Debbie. And Colleen is saying, morning Debbie, a little late to watch, dropping off grandkids to school this morning. Ah, that's nice. It's nice that you're in though, Colleen, so thank you for joining us. Right, so we've done a bit of stamping with them. The next thing I want to do is show you how you can use your ink pads. And actually, I think what I'm going to do is show you how to triple emboss. So let's do that, because triple emboss is something we're always asked about, and how you do it, and what's the best level, why do we triple emboss, why is it not just one layer, why can't we do 4 or 5 layers? So let's cover all of that. So I'm going to make sure that I've popped my lids back on everything, because you know what I'm like, I will make sure it's gone. Funny story this morning as well, you know what I'm like with things. I actually thought I broke another Gemini this morning. I mean, I don't know what I do to the machines. The other day I knew what I'd done to the machine. I'd put the mat through. So anyone that doesn't know the story, I actually put the craft mat through my Gemini without realising it was stuck on the bottom, so the magnetic shim, and it got rolled up in the rollers live on air, and I broke the machine. It's been fixed now, so it's okay. This morning I was doing some boards, because we've got HSN previews next week, or Sarah has, so I was helping our Lily out, who does the boards for HSN, and doing extras for her, and the machine just stopped working. It just literally just stopped working. And the worst thing was, I have to tell Liam, who's manager of the whole studios, that I've broke the machine again. So I literally went in the office and said, Liam, I promise I didn't do anything, because I really didn't. I said, but I think I broke another machine. And anyway, it ended up being the cord, apparently. So the cord didn't work. So he put a new cord in, and it was absolutely fine. So there you go. But as he walked out the studio, he did say, Debbie, are you in tomorrow? And I said, no. He said, thank goodness for that. He said, things happen in threes. So if I was in another day, I might break another machine. Right, where did I put? It's underneath somewhere. I don't know where I've just put my stamps. Well, we'll just place that over there. So let's bring this in here, because now you might remember these are some really old stamps, but I loved this stamp when it came out, because there's so many different techniques you could do with them. So apologies if you haven't got them, but do you know what the good thing about this stamp is this, you could do this yourself. So you could make yourself some sort of lines, just some square lines, a little bit like Zantangling. You know where our Sandra comes in and does Zantangling? This would be really simple to make yourself. So I had a stamp which I've stamped out with black ink pad, and then this is exactly the same, but I've cut it out, so I've cut the edge out. So when I pop this onto there, can you see, it looks like that's exactly the same. And then the Be Strong, Be Happy, BU, is from the peacock. So the plume, what's it called? Graceful plumes that we did yesterday. That's one of the sentiments in there. So I wanted to already stamp that out. And then I wanted to show you how we can use this and create almost like an enameled tile, which is going to look really cool. So I'm going to bring my piece of black card back in, just onto there. And we're going to use some ink pads. So I might use some different colours actually. I tell you what we'll use. Let's use the orange and the Chinese red. Now I'm not sure what colours we've got on the website, so do go and have a look, because we do have pigment ink pads on there, and you will be able to find them. Colin's saying I need to do more with the heat emboss. I don't use that technique as much as I should because they make everything look so nice and shiny and sparkly. Tim is saying once image has been stamped, what best medium to use, or ink pad to create a background image over the image but without it being coloured, if that makes sense. So I think actually, Tim, that's probably a bit like what I'm doing now. So I've used a quick drying ink to stamp, and then I'm going to use my pigment ink pads over the top, which should work because they are opaque. I'm actually, now you've said that, I am wondering whether I should use a lighter colour and then a stronger colour around the edge, because no, it shouldn't cover it. Let's try it. Let's try it. So, oh, and the other thing I didn't talk about is daubers. You can use your ink daubers as well. So these are going to be perfect for this. So I'm going to use my ink daubers. Cindy's saying, I love all CC shows, but really enjoy these calm teaching classes as a relaxing change. I'm with you, Cindy. I just think it's so nice. On a personal level, I love that I can see your names come up more often. I can be really personable with you. I can just think of all the things that we want to do together, and if you've got any ideas of other shows that you want coming up, let us know, because I can let the team know as well. So if there's something that you want to get to grips with more, or you just want sort of more tutorials on things, then absolutely ask us, because we will do whatever you need us to do, because we really enjoy this. And it's nice because I feel like I'm sitting in my craft room and we're just getting to know each other, which is lovely. Art by Jan is saying, I've got some pigment ink pads that have been around for 5 years and they're still going. Yeah, they're really, honestly, they're super juicy and really good. And Laurie's saying, good morning, Debbie. Morning, Laurie. Nice that you're joining us on YouTube. Lots of you on YouTube this morning, actually. A few on Facebook, but I think we get more viewers on YouTube. So I think you must be all into your YouTube sites than Facebook. It's funny, isn't it? Because I always thought everyone had Facebook, and I don't want to offend anyone, but my kids tell me it's for older generation. What about you, Sam? You're a youngster. What do you use? Yeah, so your YouTube, see? Yeah, so maybe it is. Maybe I need to. So YouTube, I very rarely use, unless I want a tutorial on something. I've got something really funny, because when I did use YouTube a couple of days ago, because I came up, this is where my head's at all the time, I forget things, and I forgot my makeup. So we was going to my partner Al's family for the weekend. So we travelled up. My Al's cousin said about that we were going for a walk, or to wear your trainers. So I thought, well, that's easy. I put my trainers on to go up in, forgot all my shoes. And then because we left in a hurry, I forgot to take my makeup. So I got there and we were going to a party for his aunt's, and I didn't have any makeup. So I had to go out and buy makeup. Anyway, I bought this new primer for your skin, it's called a sticky serum, and it's sticky primer. And I'm not kidding you, you put it on and you can stick things to your face. It's really funny. And not heavy things, but just like a pen or the lid of your eyeliner or something. It just sticks to your face. It's supposed to hold your makeup all day long. So I went onto YouTube to actually see if it was a good primer and if it was working, and people were sticking things to their face. So if you go and type in on YouTube sticky primer, not that I want it to come away from me, but if you type in sticky primer, sticky serum it was, or something like that, you'll see it and people are sticking things to their face because it's actually a sticky primer. I mean, the things I watch on YouTube. I really just need to watch some things like you guys are watching, like here on Crafters TV. Right, so I'm then going to go in with a red. So these are from our same colour family, and we're going to go round the edges here. And you can see I'm putting plenty of ink on. Love the fact that we can really put loads on because we've got our daubers. And yes, so I'm trying to think, I think it was Tim was saying about the question with what will go over the top when you're wanting to stamp on top. Quick drying seems to be working. I was actually thinking it might, it's faded it a little bit, but it has worked. So all I'm going to do now is go in and dab. Now this is another really good tip. Dab round your edges of where your colour starts and finishes, because what that will do is really blend those two colours together, just like so. So you can see, because I'm using more here, it is starting to fade a little, but we can still see that. So once I'm happy and I've got plenty on there, I'm going to pop those back in my little pot, and then we're going to use our embossing powder. Now the reason we call this triple embossing is for just that reason, because you want to put you want to emboss it 3 times. I'm just going to grab myself a couple more pieces of card, because when you triple emboss, you do need to be quick. So we're going to just pop that on there. The reason I'm changing is because if I put it onto there, that's going to hold my embossing powder, and I don't want to waste my embossing powder, so I'm going to pop that one away. And then we're going to place that on the top, so just all over. There we go. And then that way, that's completely covered, so we'll pop that back in there, like so. Then I'll pop that on there, and then I can tidy that up. So that gets rid of all that back in the pot. So once we've done that piece, then we can start to heat. So I'm just going to heat from the top, and then, oh, hang on, we don't want to do that, do we? Let's just get I must have a pokey tool. Yes, there's a pokey tool. So let's just pop the pokey tool just at the side there. There we go. So this is going to heat up. Now what you want to do, because heat embossing, especially when you're triple embossing, it actually creates, one layer creates this beautiful, almost like hammered effect. So you can see, I'm going to leave that heat on there, but can you see, I don't know if we can we come in closer on the overhead, Sam? Because you can then see how that is, yeah, so we can really see, can you see, it's almost like pebble dashed, where it's got that beautiful sort of look to it. But I actually want that to be stronger. Now the reason I want this hot to stay on is because I want to keep it hot and directly pop that straight back on. So I can now turn this off. Now that's on, I can then take that off. And the reason I do that, you still want it so it's warm. So this side, you can see it's not quite caught, so it wasn't as warm on that side. So it doesn't matter, because we can do that on the next piece. But we've got our next piece, so switch that over to another piece of card, and then I can pop that back. So the only thing is with heat embossing, you have to be quite quick, because it does dry really quickly, or goes cold quite quickly. So now I can do exactly the same. We can start heating this up, and just, that's going to give me my second one. Now the reason we say triple emboss is because when you triple emboss something, if you use more layers, it's literally going to run off. So again, and what I mean by run off is when you put more than 3 layers on, it will come off the edge, and that's what you don't want it to do. You don't want to have that coming off the edge, because then it would just start dripping. Do you see what I mean? It won't stay within those lines. So switch again, so pop that on there, like so. Pop that one away. And it's really worth doing. I wouldn't say you want to do this every time, because it takes time to do this, but it's such a good technique and looks really cool. So we're again just heating that through, and you can see each time it's getting a little bit quicker to heat that through. So that was only 2, wasn't it? Have we done 2? That was the third, yes, it was. I thought there was quite a lot there. I thought we can't put another one on there. So we're going to leave that just a bit longer so it sets, but you'll see the bits that I've missed, and actually it's quite good because the bits that haven't took because they were going cold at the side have still got that mottled effect. But if I bring that round, you'll be able to see how shiny that is. It's like an enamelled effect. But can you see the middle part where it's really took? Has given that beautiful tile, which is amazing. So it's a really good way to be able to then, if I just bring this one in, that would then just go over the top there like so. That's dry now, over the top. So that creates this piece. And if I just bring in my card, I've done a bit of a different stamp on this one, but you'll be able to see on there. So we've got, and that one, I left just one layer. So I wanted to show you how just doing one layer and then doing that triple emboss gives you that ultra shiny topper. So the choice is yours on those ones to do it, but that's how you would do your triple emboss. Now, I do want to show you something else as well. So these ink pads, because I've got black card, work really well on black card. So we're going to use it on an embossing folder, but I am just going to have a little bit of a clear up. I'm going to check your messages. Oh, it's warm in here today. Colin's saying, I'm on Facebook more than YouTube. Yeah, me too, Colin. Colleen, should I say. And Linda's saying, I have all the pigment inks. So glad to see you doing demos with them. I'm so pleased you've got them, Linda. And PB Brewer Martin is saying, I absolutely love this Craft Together show with you, Debbie. The pace is perfect. It has focus on important products that we buy again and again. It's great. Thank you. I have preferred YouTube forever. Oh, okay. Maybe I need to start going onto YouTube. Even when I go to watch shows, I go on Facebook. Isn't it strange? I think I've just become a bit stuck in a rut and just Facebook's my thing. So perhaps I need to go on YouTube more. And Karen is saying, Debbie, these shows with you and Craig are fabulous. I learned so much from you both during these shows. And Deb Sneery is saying, I absolutely love these shows as well. I'm so pleased because we love them too. It's nice, isn't it? And I think you're right. I think you've hit the nail on the head, all of you, are saying about the pace. The pace is just really nice to be able to sort of sit and craft, sit and chat, go through things that we want to know about and things that we've got in our stash. This isn't, you know, it's nice, isn't it, not having a silly show. It just feels like you're sort of coming into our craft room and crafting along with us, which is lovely. Right, so embossing. Let me bring these two pieces in because I want to show you two different techniques. So first one is, I'm going to pop this onto black card so you can see it. I know that sounds silly, but you'll see it more when I do the inking. And I'm actually going to use, now I'm not sure if we still have the pure white one in stock. Maybe Sam, you could check for us. It's the pigment ink pads, but in pure white. And I'm going to use it with the pink tulip as well. If we haven't got the pure white, I'm sure we will get them in. So is there not one in the pure white? Having a look. Got all the other colours, but not pure white at the moment. So the reason I'm using pure white is because it just works really well onto black, but so do all your other colours. So even if I was to use, let's say I wanted to use Honey Pot, let me just show you how beautiful they look onto black cardstock. So I'm just going to grab that one, pop that down. So even, look at this, popping that down. That's on black cardstock. It's because the pigment is so vibrant. But I want to keep this really chalky. So I'm going to use the white and I'm going to use the pink. And we're going to use the daubers. So I haven't got a clean dauber, but that one doesn't look too messy. So yeah, that's fine, we can use that. So I'm going to start with the white, and this was just one of our macro embossing folders that we had. And I'm just going to really gently go on to the embossed detail with the white to start with. So just placing it exactly where we want it, but you can see how lovely this looks. Just adding. You don't need to put loads on, it's because it's really chalky. I'm actually thinking that if you go for, oh, what's the paint called? The primer paint. It's gone completely out of my head. Gesso. If you was to use gesso with your dauber, just patting it into your gesso, I think you would get the same technique with this. if you haven't got the ink pads. So just a case of tapping that, and I really am just tickling the surface, so we're not going down heavy, because I still want that black in the background. We're just going to add this colour onto the embossed area. This is reminding me of some new embossing, I shouldn't say, should I have been really naughty then, new embossing folders that are coming out next month. Yes, so, and you're going to love them. So I'm not going to tell you no more than that. I think we've got a show soon which is going to tell you what's coming up, so I don't think it will be long. And I'm sure they might even be on HSN, which I think, is that next week or the week after? Can't remember when it is. I think it is next week, Sam. Absolutely. I emboss quite a bit, Tracy is saying. Now I'm going to my pink, but this is intriguing from the triple embossing. Oh, that's good to know. And Colleen is saying, I'm loving these intimate craft room shows. Love getting to see techniques and ideas, and it reminds us of crafts to do and use. Love showing and using the products we have and teaching us ideas using our CC products. And actually, yeah, you're absolutely right, because I hear so many people say that they're not using the things that they've got in their stash. I'm actually thinking I might have used... I'm going to switch this because the pink doesn't seem to be showing up very well in this. So let's try the fuchsia and see if that goes. I think that might, yes, we need to put a little bit of fuchsia. I don't want too much because I just want a tiny bit of colour. But the light pink doesn't seem to want to go on. I'm wondering if that's getting a little bit dry. So just pop in a little bit onto the edges, and I'm doing this like this because then I'm going to blend it with the white one that I was using, just to give a little bit of a difference there. And you could do this with any colour you want as well. Carol is saying, is this a daisy folder? Do you recall the name of it? I can't remember. I'm so sorry, Carol. It was called the macro folder, so I know it was the macro. Not even sure, what does macro stand for, Sam? Is that a name of a flower, or is it like bold flowers, or? Ah, now that would make sense. So Sam is saying it's like when you have super close-up shots. So that is what the flowers are like, isn't it? It's like you've got right down to them to make an image of them close up. So I think you could be right there. Is that the one I used? Yes. So all I'm going to do is go back out and blend some extra white into those colours. There we go. That's better. That's the effect that I wanted. But it's amazing to think that because they're pigment ink pads, this is how we're able to blend onto black cardstock. And you just wouldn't be able to do that with your regular ink pads, which is one of the things that I like about the pigment ink pads, is that they will go onto your darker cardstock. And also, and I've not even touched on this, but if you wanted to stamp onto acetate or vellum or mirror card, anything that's got a shiny surface which is not going to take your inks very well, you can heat emboss onto all those surfaces. All I would say is if you're using pigments onto acetate, you either want your heat resist or you want to have your construction weight, and if you've got a construction weight acetate, it would take your heat a bit more because otherwise it will warp it. So make sure it's either heat resist or your construction weight. So but that's the great thing again with pigment ink pads, which I absolutely love. Right, I'm going to leave that at that. That's my background. Now the next thing I want to show you is how you can create an ombre, and I'm going to do the same thing, but we are going to use our pink and our white. So let me just pop that on. So I'm going to start with my white, there it is, and we're just going to come up on the bottom of the birthday. So I'm just going to tap that in like so. And I'm putting plenty of ink down. And even though that is white, I still want to put my pigment ink pad into there. because it gives this really chalky white finish. You could also do this, the other colour we do is a spar blue, and that's a really light colour as well. So you would have that sort, you would get the same sort of ombre for that, it's just not a white. And then we're going to switch to the pink, and then we're going to come down from the pink. I'm just going to turn the card round, just hold that into place, and I'm just going to go along the top, like so. And can you see, I'm just tapping because I want that to blend with that white. We're going to go back into there, but first of all, we're just going to put loads of pink onto this one. And this is a really cool way of just all your die cuts, you could do like this and make them into an ombre. They'd look really cool if you were using them on like, trying to think, like an outline die or a flower die, something like that. They would look beautiful. So once we've done that, I'm going to go back in with the white one. I'm just trying to hold that in place, tap some more, and then we're just going to literally just tap that. So it gives this really beautiful ombre technique. And this way you could do with lots of stronger colours and then lighter colours. There we go. And we're going to heat emboss this because we've put plenty of ink on there. I'm going to actually use that to heat emboss. So again, pop that lid on and the white one. So always make sure you close your lids so you don't get any water in them, you don't get any of your embossing powder in them, and they'll look beautiful. So just pour that all over the top, like so. And then there's my pokey tool. Bring in, oh, that one there. And then pop that one in. I always like to work on 2 pieces of card, and it just helps so you know where you're at. So then we're going to heat emboss this, and again, I'm just going to use my pokey tool in one of the little holes and just start to melt this one. And this is going to create a really beautiful texture, but a lovely shiny topper. It's going to look amazing. And we've had some, I can't remember where I got this birthday, happy birthday one, because I don't know about you guys or where you keep your dies, but when I have dies that I regularly use, I tend to just use them on my wall behind me. Oh, let's just do that one there. There we go. So I tend to, yeah, I've got magnetic sheets on my wall behind me, and I tend to sort of put them on there. So because we've got this beautiful design, let me just take that one off. Stuck itself there. There we go. I mean, that for a topper is absolutely gorgeous. Let me just take that one away. And then when you go to put this, let's move all these out the way. When you put this over the top of this one, look how beautiful that looks. And if I just have it to the front camera there. And then what I'll do, I've got a card which I've put it onto so you can see my full card. There you go. Sorry, Sam, to come out again there. But I think you'll agree, having that in the background, doesn't that look classy? Such a lovely card to do, which I think is beautiful. So love that one. Right, so there's all my different techniques that I've sort of shown you. Let's bring them in and let's see if we've got any questions or anything you want to know, or we can just have a little chit chat. So let's have a look. Linda is saying, could you use the clear stamp pad to add more layers of link? When you're triple embossing. So, Linda, I didn't even think about being able to do that until it was a few weeks ago. And I was working with Craig, and Craig was telling me that's what he does. And I think he did it on one of the shows. And I have never thought about doing that before. And I think it's a brilliant idea. And I'd actually forgot about doing it this time. So, yes, so when Craig was doing it, and same what Linda's just saying, when you heat emboss, so you put your embossing, instead of doing it for a long time of heating and then being quick with the embossing powder, you just take the heat tool away, you apply the clear ink over the top, and then you reapply your embossing powder. I've never done it that way before and didn't even know about that way. So yeah, and this is what I'm saying, is what we learn from each other. So Linda, you're absolutely right, and I should have thought of that, because and it's a really good technique. If you're embossing a big area, you don't have to be so quick then, or you don't have to just do half and then half again. You can actually do it all in one go just by applying your translucent ink over the top. So yeah, brilliant tip. So thank you, Linda, because I'd absolutely forgotten about that, and I was blown away when Craig showed me, because I didn't even know that was a thing. But it just shows you we don't know everything. Laura's saying, Debbie, I'm absolutely loving this hour with you. Oh, thank you, Laura. Nicole Broderick is in there. She said, this folder is from the Delightful Daisy collection, and it's called Daisy Meadow. Nicole, I never knew that. I thought it was the macro folders that we had, so I was completely wrong. So it's from Delightful Daisies. I can't remember that being in Delightful Days, but I know Nicole is right. She always knows where they're from. Colleen is saying, I never thought to do this ombre colouring. Thank you, Debbie. And Tracy's saying, do you use Facebook, but consider it on Friday live, as Facebook always wins. Oh, you've just reminded me, Tracy. I've got Facebook. I've got a Friday Night Live tonight, and Ben's so competitive, and I think he's won every one, hasn't he? Oh, he's lost a few. He's not lost many, our Sam says, but he's... what's the game tonight, Sam? Cool. So what's that? It's a craft smash tonight. You get a what? Yeah. Oh, okay. Right, so it's craft smash, and we get a question, and the answer goes with an image that we've got to put the two together. I quite like the idea of that. Okay, I actually think I might be all right at something like that. I haven't seen it, so... Oh, did she not? She didn't enjoy it. Oh, okay. I think I might. Yeah, I quite like games like that. I like anything. I like anagrams. I like. Does anyone watch the program? Oh, what's it called? No. The when you get like 99 to what? No. No. It's. They've got all these people, and you get down to one person. 1% Club. Have you seen the 1% Club, Sam? Oh, it's so good. It's really good. So has anyone seen the 1% Club? I'm sure that's what it's called. And it's all, I think there's about 100 people in the audience, and they've all got a buzzer, and they're questions that are, you've got to work them out. And it could be like a word in a word. It could be, it's all problem solving and clue solving. And they'll start with quite an easy question where they think most people would get it. And then it goes where they think only 99% of the audience would get it. And then 80% of the audience would get it. And you get to only 1% of the audience would get that question right. So it's very good, really good, that one. Colin's saying, just a beautiful card. Love this, Debbie. Carol's saying, I love that card. Trudy's saying, love that card. So yeah, loads of you in today. Thank you for all your comments and your questions. It's really good to hear from you. We've got a few more minutes, and then I think we're going to end, so which will be good. We've got 3.5 minutes, so we can just have a little chat. So yes, anything else you want to know about the pigment ink pads? Now's your chance to ask. So let me just recap on the ink pads that we have. So we have, pop them to the side. Let me just bring in, I did have a black one somewhere and it's disappeared. There it is. Yes, Sam knows where it is. There we go. So let me bring in those 3 ink pads. Now, obviously we do Duet ink pads, which is another brand, but these are the ink pads that we do all the same colour family. So you've got your water reactive dye. These are brilliant for blending, distressing, water reactive. They're amazing. So you can do so much with these ink pads. Leanne absolutely loves these. They are probably her favourite. We've got quick drying ink pads, which means as soon as you stamp something, and in fact, I'm going to show you, so you, instead of me just saying it, I'm going to actually show you exactly what we mean. So let me bring in my stamping platform, and we'll just get a little stamp just to pop on there and just show you how good the quick drying are. Now I wasn't going to do this because obviously we're all about pigments, but I do want to show you just how good they are because they really do work beautifully. So I'm just going to use the stamp that I was using, pop that onto there and pick that one up like so. And this is why they're so good to use under your pigments, because they really work. But I'm going to put plenty on there. Stamp that down. Now, as soon as I stamp, I'm going to make sure that's gone all the way around. I'm going to literally lift this off and rub it. Ready? Go. That's the only way I can prove to you how good they are. So as soon as you stamp, you cannot smudge, budge. It's such a brilliant ink pad to have. So that one is your quick drying. So quick drying do exactly that. They will do any quick drying. Great for layering up. So if you've got a layering stamp, stencils, anything like that, you'll know when we did our layering stencils that came with our stamping platform in last October actually. You'll notice that we had quick drying ink pads with those, because in stencil and layering them up, they dry really quickly. And then we come to our opaque ink pad, which is the ones it's the most, it's got real proper pigment in there. I say proper pigment, it's pigment that's natural, so it means that it will last longer, it dries slower, so you can do all those heat embossing techniques. It blends, you can paint with it if you put it on your mat as well. So much that you can do with the pigment ink pads, which is why I absolutely love them. And there is so many more techniques as well that that we probably haven't even got to. Betty Weaver is in and she's saying, I've saved this show and we'll refer back to it for a refresher. Love to create, saying Tar Debbie for the demos. And Karen is saying, thank you so much for all the information. You're absolutely welcome. I will be back at 5 p.m. tonight. I'm on with Ben. We've got Friday Night Live, so we'll be playing games and got lots of things going on in there. And I get to get my hands on the new silhouette dies and stamps and the outdoor collection that's on today, which is going to be absolutely amazing. So I will see you later on. Have a good afternoon, whatever you're up to. Bye for now.